Ladies and gentlemen, it is rare indeed when the St. Nicholas Institute has a cabinet member for the United States of America as one of its guests at an award banquet. It's pretty special, and it's a great honor. But the St. Nicholas Institute is known for according people the honors they deserve. And Dr. Ben and Mrs. Candy Carson are worthy of the award they will receive tonight. I'll talk a little bit about the Carsons in just a moment, but I want to make sure that everyone knows why they were nominated for the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's because they are making a difference in the world. They are helping to build the future of our country, and as a result, the world. Dr. Ben and Candy are the co-founders of the Carson Scholars Fund. For more than 20 years, the Carson Scholars Fund has been assisting young people from grades 4 through 11 with scholarships for, quote, academic excellence and humanitarian qualities. Each young person, if they qualify, are granted $1,000 apiece to help them to get a college education. The couple founded the scholarship program after reading that U.S. students ranked second to last in terms of mathematics and science in a testing from among 22 different countries. The Carsons realized that this situation was insufficient and needed to be remedied if possible. They also noticed that schools tended to award athletes with trophies, whereas honor students only received a pin or a certificate. That, too, was insufficient. So they started the scholarship program, and over the years, thousands and thousands of young Americans have benefited from their support and encouragement. To date, well over $6 million have been distributed to the brightest and the best of our children, those who would not normally be able to afford a college education. That's the kind of Christmas gift that will keep on giving for generations to come. Perhaps a few short words on Dr. Ben and Candy Carson will suffice. Ben grew up not too far from here, down in the Springwell Village's Delray section of town in Detroit's southwest side. And it's a tough neighborhood today, and it was a tough neighborhood back then. But Ben's mom was fierce about education, and she made sure that her sons strove for good grades. Her perseverance on behalf of her children worked out because in 1973, young Ben entered the University of Michigan School of Medicine, where he excelled. He received his MD in 1977. From there, he was accepted into the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine neurosurgery program. In 1984, he was appointed the university's director of pediatric neurosurgery, eventually heading a 70-member surgical team. He was the first physician to ever separate conjoined twins who had been joined at the back of their head. After a splendid career in medicine, Dr. Ben Carson made his next major step. And in May of 2015, he announced here in Detroit that he would run for President of the United States. Although he did not reach that goal, he was given a seat on President Donald Trump's cabinet. And today, he is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Now, while Candy Carson hasn't been perhaps as active as her husband, although I'm sure she will tell you otherwise, she still has much to say about the world that we live in. She, too, was born in Detroit. But the two of them first met when they were attending college at Yale University. Candy is a concert violinist and a conductor. She is the author of 5 books, one of which made the New York Times bestseller list in 2014. The two have been married for 42 years and have 3 children and several grandchildren.
I had a childhood dream of becoming a physician. However, growing up in a single-parent home with dire poverty, a pathological temper, and poor grades seemed to preclude the possibility of me realizing that dream.
Ben Carson's mother, Sonia, who only had a 3rd grade education, challenged Ben and his brother to read 2 books every week from the Detroit Public Library and write book reports.
And she really wasn't able to read, even though she required us to read 2 books apiece from the Detroit Public Libraries and submit to her written book reports. We thought she was reading them, but she was just underlining things and putting check marks on them and making us believe that she was reading them. but it had the desired effect.
The boy once called Dummy graduated from Yale, attended medical school at the University of Michigan. And at age 33 became the youngest major division director at the Johns Hopkins Medical Institutions. As director of pediatric neurosurgery, Dr. Carson has pioneered amazing life-saving procedures, including, in 1987, leading the first team to successfully separate twins conjoined at the back of the head. Today, Dr. Carson continues to save lives. He also puts his energy into other vitally important endeavors.
Dr. Ben Carson and his wife Candy launched the Carson Scholars Fund to change the perception in schools that athletes deserve more recognition than honor students. In 1994, they started giving $1,000 scholarships to students as early as 4th grade who demonstrated superior academic performance and humanitarian qualities. The school of each Carson Scholar receives a trophy as impressive as a state championship sports trophy. The scholarship winner receives a medal and attends an awards banquet with his or her family. The Carson Scholars return to their schools as role models, encouraging others to strive for academic excellence. Teachers have commented that when they have a Carson Scholar in their classroom, the grade point average of the entire class goes up. The Carson Scholars Fund started with 25 scholars in 3 states. Today, there are more than 4,800 scholars in 45 states. 300 colleges across the U.S. have a Carson Scholar currently attending. After college, 92% of Carson Scholars plan on attending graduate school. Dr. and Mrs. Carson's dream is to recognize a Carson Scholar in every school in the United States. In the year 2000, to address the reading crisis in our nation, the Ben Carson Reading Project was established. The purpose of the program is to provide funding and support to schools so they can create a nurturing environment for children to feel safe and secure as they develop their reading skills. Since its inception, the Carson Scholars Fund has established more than 55 reading rooms in 7 states.
Ben Carson Reading Room is just a place where everybody can relax and get their troubles off the back and just have some time to themselves and reading books.
Without the Carson room, it would be sad.
Why?
Because I like books so much.
I am Maya Takar. I'm in middle school and a Carson Scholar. When I grow up, I would love to be a doctor.
I'm Bonnie Takyar. I'm a Carson Scholar. I am in medical school, and I'm going to be a doctor.
I'm Justin Blazniak. I'm a 7th grader. I'm a 3-time Carson Scholarship winner. And when I grow up, I want to be an engineer.
I'm Eric Davidson. I am a Carson Scholar, and I am an engineer.
I'm Justice Hartley. I'm a 6th grader. I am a Carson Scholar, and when I get older, I want to be a biomedical engineer.
I'm Russ Frisbee. I'm a Carson Scholar, and I am a biomedical engineer.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce to you Dr. Ben and Candy Carson, the recipients of the St. Nicholas Institute's 2017 Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Candy and I are very honored to be here, particularly the other awardees. It's very, very inspirational to be considered amongst that group of people. And, Father Joe and all the people who've been involved with this and helping to spread the right kind of spirit in our country. That was really the reason that the Carson Scholars Fund got started. We'd go into the schools, and we'd see all these trophies, all-state basketball, all-state wrestling, all-state this, that, and the other. And what did the academic superstar get? A National Honor Society pen and a pat on the head. There, little nerd. Nobody really cared about that. And we said, this is a problem. So, with prayerful consideration, we launched the Carson Scholars Fund. We were told forget about it. There's too many scholarship programs. There's thousands. There's no way you can ever do anything different than anybody else has done. But by the grace of God, through the Carson Scholars Fund, we won the Simon Award, which is only given to one philanthropic organization in the country each year. It comes with a check for $250,000, by the way. And the Ronald McDonald Charity Award, also a six-figure check, also only one organization in the country, and a number of other awards. But we don't do it for the awards. We do it for the effect. Because in order to win, a young person has to have at least a 3.75 grade point average on a 4.0 scale. That's half of it. The other half is they have to demonstrate that they care about other people more than just the 6 weeks before the award. And because we're trying to develop the future leaders of our nation. We need people who are not only smart, but people who care about other people. And you see the coarsening that's going on in our society. This is not who we are as Americans. We're not each other's enemies. We're not out to tear each other down. And we have to fight the forces of division in this country. Because Jesus said it best. He said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Never has stood, never will stand. And we must prepare today for what's going to happen tomorrow. But that's only half of the program. The other half are the reading rooms.
Yeah, he never tells me when he's going to do this. Here we go. Here we go again. But yeah, you have to love them, don't you? But the reading rooms, I mean, the reading rooms are the reason why, right now, what time is it? It's about 9:30 or so?
10.
So 10, so it's 6 hours. It's 4 in the morning where we are, because we just got in yesterday from Europe. So anyway, wake up. What was I going to say? Tomorrow morning, I'm leaving at 4 because I get to speak at one of those reading rooms. It is so cool to have an opportunity. Can you hear me? It is so cool to be able to tell these kids, and it'll be like 500 sitting cross-legged on the gym floor, and I get to tell them all the stuff that I've heard him speak about when he was on the speaker circuit, because before the president and all the other kind of stuff, presidency run and all that, he was a neurosurgeon, of course, right? And he would give these talks about the power of the brain. So I get to tell the kids positive things like your brain can process 2 million bits of information per second, and you can't overload it, because if you were to learn 1 fact per second, which is hard to do because it's hard to conceptualize 1 fact every second, but if you could, it would take you 3 million years to start to challenge the capacity of your brain. I get to tell this to the kids, and they're sitting on the edge of their seats, they're so excited. And think about this, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. I can say that, I can say God made you because I'm not working for the school, so it's so cool. Kids, just empowering them with this knowledge that I've heard him say over the years. And these rooms are whimsically decorated and the kid-friendly. You saw some of the pictures there. The kid-friendly chairs, and one of them was like those exercise balls. And consider a kid that's ADD. Oh yeah, I will. Yeah. Okay. But consider sitting on one of those balls. Okay, you got a kid with ADD, and he's kind of rolling around. Okay, he's rolling around on the ball, trying to balance himself while he's got the book. It's just so cool, because I gotta. And think about it, you get a massage too while you're doing it. So anyway, but they're decorated whimsically, and the kids read for points. They turn the points for prizes, and at first they're doing it for the prizes, but after a while they learn to love learning. So the video was a little bit older because we've been creating reading rooms all over the country like crazy. We're in 22 states now with 170, and the reason why I'm leaving at 4 in the morning is because we're going to open number 171. So it's really exciting to know. And one other fact I wanted to mention, too, because it was talking about the $1,000 scholarships that we give. That money is invested on that child's behalf until they matriculate at a 4-year accredited institution. So they do learn to follow the stock market and see how things are going. So that money does grow. So it's really cool to...
and if they win 6 times, they get a movie.
Huh? That's right. That's a new thing. We just got, we have wonderful funders. This wonderful lady out in California who would do like 5 reading rooms at a time. She did 15 in Denver, and now she's doing them in Sacramento where she's living with her daughter. But anyway, yeah, she's done 20 there. So she came up with that, well, we came with the idea, and she was willing to fund it. If they went 6 times, is that it? Yeah, then they get more money. So we because they can be recognized like up to 9 times, and they get all these little stars on it. And you know, when the kids come up to the stage, you know, you put the certificate on them, you give them the certificate, but you gotta hug them, you know. And the little boys, like you see these 9 little boys, and they're looking, I don't want that woman hugging me, but you know, they get it anyway. Because you think about it, they're sacrificing for their future and for the future of this nation. So. You just can't help but do that. So anyway, the reason why I'm getting up at 4 in the morning is I'm going to go and speak at that school, because it's another school where you can talk about positives. Kids don't hear that. They don't realize that if they don't understand something, they can mention it to a teacher. And I told them, anybody in this room can help you. They will try to help you. You tell them that you don't understand something because maybe you missed one of those building blocks, because everything's built on building blocks, right? You know, whether it's physics, whether it's reading. Think about reading. Oh, yeah, I do get carried away. But but think about with reading, if you knew all the letters, just about all of them, you didn't know A, S, T, and E, what could you read? Put in those building blocks, and it's easy. It's the same with physics, algebra, all of those. And I get to tell that to the kids. So go ahead, honey.
But, you know, it has been such a privilege to be involved in the lives of so many of our young people, and to continue to do those things that can help to heal the breach in our country. And let us all continue to ask God to have mercy on us and to help us to truly be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.